adjust it as we go if we need to, but let's get him talking first.
Sly! Come in! Sly!
Sly!
Do you read me?
Yeah, I read you. Loud and very loud.
Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Trying to break into police headquarters does that.
Get over it, Bentley. You're safe in the van. I'm the thief here. I've got to steal that file from Inspector Carmelita Fox.
Well, count on me to be your eyes and ears, buddy. Got their security system totally scoped. To get inside, you're gonna have to go through that air vent.
All right, I'm going in.
And don't forget you got me at the wheel, Sly. All you gotta do is grab the file and get back to the van. We'll do the rest.
Just keep that engine running, Murray. I'll be down in no time.
I love the voice acting in this game so much. Bentley is such an icon. He's fantastic. Just the first impression of this game is just Bentley coming in and just being like, Sly! Sly, come in! Like, he just cannot control how nervous he is about this job. Oh man, I love that. Also starring Bentley the Turtle. And Murray. We're not gonna discuss that he's a hippo. No, he's here. Featuring the Fiendish Five. And we'll get to learn a little bit more about them. Introducing Carmelita Montoya Fox as the Inspector. Man, I think the presentation goes such a long way in this game. They really lay it out like a movie or a TV series. Or, as we'll see especially clearly in some of the later entries, it's got like Saturday morning cartoon vibes and comic book vibes to it as well. Just some really fun stylistic choices. Let's head up here.
Hey, Bentley, I think I'm seeing things. Must be vertigo or something. Can you see those crazy blue lights?
Really? I've read about this. Master raccoon thieves are able to sense thieving opportunities, which manifest themselves as unexplainable blue auras. According to my research, all you have to do is get near them and hold down the circle button, and you should perform a super sneaky master thief move.
Hold down the circle button near blue auras. I'm on it.
Bentley, what's a circle button? I love it when they just don't care about, like, we're not gonna try to keep the controls all, like, we're not gonna try to explain them in universe. It's just super sneaky master thief move. I also love the way the music ramps up in intensity just a little bit there. Alright, Sly, you're going to have to vent. I know it will be hard for you to be sus, but I'm sure you can do it.
Be extra careful here, Sly. Break one of those laser beams and you'll set off the alarms. Not to mention you'll be fried to a crisp.
So that is kind of true. If we trip any lasers or set off the alarms, these yellow lasers will turn red and they'll actually damage us at that point. But the first time we trip one of the lasers, it'll just start setting off the alarms and then the lasers will turn red. So we want to try to avoid doing that and get rid of these alarms. So those little fire hydrant looking things, those are the alarm system.
Inspector Carmelita Fox's office is behind the red door.
The red door. Stanley walked through the red door.
Maybe there's a way to get around it.
Also, listen carefully as Sly walks along the ledge here. You can hear like a little bit of walking bass, just like do 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 do. Stuff like that is so cool. Just really adds so much little bits of personality and character to everything that's going on. It's not just a sneaking animation, it's also, you know, reflected in the quieter music. The music gets quieter. And we get that like musical interpretation of sneaking. I just love that.
Way to go, Sly! This is where Inspector Carmelita Fox stashes all her important files. I hacked into the police security mainframe and discovered this vault's combo. Try dialing in 937.
937, huh? 937. And there we go.
Nice job! You got it! If you come down through the fire escape and head through the parking lot, we'll be waiting in the getaway van.
Alright, tuck that in my pack. Gotta leave behind my good old-fashioned calling card. And moving right along.
Criminal!
Criminal!
You foolish raccoon. I've caught you red-handed.
Ah, Carmelita. I haven't seen you since I gave you the slip in Bombay.
Which reminds me, you need to return the Firestone of India to its rightful owners.
Ah, and I was gonna give it to you as a little token of my... Hey, you know, that bazooka really brings out the color of your eyes. Very fetching.
You think? This pistol packs a paralyzing punch. You ought to try it. Might snap you out of your crime spree.
And give up our little rendezvous?
Plenty of time for that once you're safely behind bars.
Love to stick around and chat, but I just dropped by to pick up this case file. I think you've had it long enough.
But dude, just the little banter between them, it's so much fun. And the music picks up again. So much fun. Then we get a little escape sequence. Ooh. And a little spicy there, Carmelita. Getting out of here.
You can't escape me, raccoon!
And get away we did.
Once again, my gang and I had given Inspector Carmelita Fox the slip. I was surprised to see how well she took it. Finally, the secret police file I'd been searching for all these years. With this, I could avenge my family and regain possession of our most valued treasure. It all began when I was just a kid, bouncing on my father's knee. You see, I come from a long line of master thieves who kept all their secrets of sneaking and stealing in an ancient book. The Thievius Raccoonus.
The
Anyone
book.
who read it learned to be especially sneaky, which is why we specialize in stealing from criminals. After all, there's no honor, no challenge, no fun stealing from ordinary people. You rip off a master criminal, and you know you're a master thief. Well, on the night I was supposed to inherit the book, 5 visitors came unannounced to our door. My father fought to protect us, but the gang of villains known as the Fiendish Five overpowered him and ransacked our house until they found the Thievius Raccoonus. Our family's manual of thieving greatness fell into their filthy hands. They tore the book into 5 pieces and split it up, each villain disappearing to the farthest corners of the world to commit dastardly crimes. Broken alone, I was dumped at the town orphanage. There I met 2 guys who became my lifelong buddies and trusted crew. Bentley, techno genius and strategist supreme, and Murray, part-time driver and full-time burden. Together we pledged to track down the Fiendish Five, avenge my father, and steal back the Thievius Raccoonus. I knew I was about to face the toughest test of my life. On this mission, I would either become a master thief like my ancestors before me, or fail and allow my family name to bite the dust.
And thus the stakes are set.
That was a nice piece of work back there at police headquarters, Sly. Come see me if you want to check out any of your old movies. I've got them all here on my computer. Use the left analog stick to move around the hideout and the X button to select things.
Alright, so we're here at the hideout.
I've already plotted a route to our first target.
That's our first target there, looks like. And then Murray's usually blocking the view of the second, or whatever the next location is going to be. And it's just vibing, having a snack. Nothing wrong with that.
I've already plotted a route to our first target.
Alright, first target it is. Let's go track down the Fiendish Five, shall we?
The road trip gave me the time I needed to study up on Sir Raleigh the Frog. As a young man, this hot-tempered frog grew bored of his life of luxury and privilege. On a whim, he tried his hand at a bit of piracy and found it to his liking. Raleigh, who quickly became addicted to crime, was brought into the Fiendish Five as chief machinist, where his evil tinkering genius rose to new heights.
The
The
music.
last reported sighting of this mad machinist was off the soggy coast of the Isle o' Rath, a small island uncomfortably situated in the middle of the perilous Welsh Triangle.
These openings, though. Sly Cooper in Tide of Terror. I just love that they're named in these episodic ways. It's so cool. Alright, a stealthy approach. Keep out. Since when have I ever learned how to read?
Hey, Sly! I just spotted something that's going to complicate the mission. See that nasty-looking gate? It blocks the only road leading into Raleigh's hideout.
No problem. I'll just use my climb move.
Okay, but remember, you can only climb on certain objects, like pipes and ropes.
Yeah, sure, and like that ladder there?
That is correct, but do not forget, Sly. You have to get close.
Then hit the circle button to grab it. Yeah. Relax, Bentley. I live for this stuff.
Yeah, and that's what worries me.
Don't worry, Bentley. Your faith in Sly will only increase. No trespassing. Well. First things first, we've got these funky little bottles here.
Now this is very interesting. The message you just found appears to be some sort of clue. I'll decipher it here in the van. In the meantime, see if you can find any more clues. The more I have, the easier it'll be to crack the code.
So these clue bottles are one of the Sly Cooper collectibles. And if we find all of the clue bottles in an area, then we will have the ability to open up one of those vaults like we did back at the police headquarters. Bonk. Another thing to keep in mind is that this game operates off of very similar principles to, say, Crash Bandicoot. We don't really have an HP system, per se. This is the type of game where we've got a one-and-done lives system. So if we take damage from anything, we will immediately just lose a life and be back at our most recent checkpoint. Whatever that happens to be at the time. And like Crash Bandicoot, we are going to have a certain item that allows us to take damage without immediately dying because of it. But we'll get to that point once the game actually introduces that concept to us. We can also climb on these ropes to gather some more stuff. Pop down here.
and you'll be subjected to acute combustion.
You done whining? Let's go.
I'm just trying to keep you alive, partner. Fortunately for you, I launched these signal repeaters throughout Raleigh's fortress. Get close to one, and I can checkpoint your progress.
Nice.
Handy. Signal repeaters, huh? So yeah, same deal with these as with the security lasers before. If you run into one, that sets off the alarm and the spotlights will turn red. Walking into a red spotlight will subject Sly to immediate turret fire. So ideally we want to try and avoid that. This guy's got literal throwing stars. Man actually throws stars at us. How poetic. So these are checkpoints, basically. So if we die, we'll come back to here instead of all the way back at the van at the beginning. We got these cute little big bumblebees. Look at them, they're so round.
According to my amphibio positioning system, that big blimp is where Raleigh is hiding out.
You know, that blimp looks more like a machine than a hideout.
You're right, Sly. That is a storm machine. It's the reason why it never stops raining around here.
That explains all the wrecked ships.
But why would Raleigh want bad weather at his own hideout 24/7?
Beats me. But rain or shine, I'm gonna steal my family's book back. And if Raleigh gets in my way, it's on.
Yeah, it's almost like having constant rain would make it harder for anyone to actually get in and deal with Raleigh to begin with. So as far as controls go, we have our cane swinging. This is basically our only means of attack. We do have a double jump. That second jump doesn't really add a whole lot. It's mostly good for a tiny bit of extra height. But also, gotta love those moments too. The current over here is pretty strong, so we need to be consistently jumping to avoid getting swept off the edge. Yeah, that second jump is not super helpful as a, like,
Nice job so far,
it doesn't do
Sly.
momentum canceling or
To get over
anything.
the next gate, you'll need to grab onto this hook using your cane. Just jump and hit the circle button.
Got it. Jump and hit the circle button to grab onto hooks.
Sly's voice acting in this game is so quiet, it's funny. Yeah, one thing that I love is just the controls ultimately are very simple for this game, but the way they're used for a diversity of actions. Like circle button, holding it down near those ledges lets us sneak. We can use it to grab onto climbable objects like the ropes and ladders. And we can also use it to attach onto these hooks, which actually have me using the analog stick to swing back and forth to build up momentum. It's a lot of cool stuff, a lot of diversity in a relatively simple control set. Excuse me. One other thing that we can do is we do have this binocucom. So we can kind of scope things out from a distance and just get a better look at our surroundings, because we can take a look up top and see that we got a couple of clue bottles up by that searchlight. So we'll probably want to shut down the searchlights before trying to get up there. Another checkpoint here. Let's see. We'll just sneak right through here. No, sir. Also, you may have noticed that when we got 100 coins, our coin counter backed up.
Vault has got to be somehow related to those clues and bottles you've been collecting. If you can locate all the clues in this area, I should be able to crack the code and get you inside it.
Fair play, fair play. So you may have noticed when I got up to 100 coins that the counter went back.
Remember, you can't open this vault without finding the rest of the clues.
Hey, thanks, Bentley. Hold on, buddy. Trying to explain a thing. Game mechanics. I'm just gonna sit here for a second while I explain this so that Bentley doesn't accidentally tell me about the vault again. So when we get 100 coins, I have this horseshoe on my back now that has like a blue aura to it. That is essentially an extra hit point. If we take damage now, we won't immediately die. Instead, we'll take the damage, but we won't get reset to our most recent checkpoint. So let's grab the last of these clue bottles and pop open this safe.
You found it, Sly. That's the final clue to crack the code. Now find that vault, and I'll give you the instructions to open it.
Also, I don't think this game has fall damage. So I don't think we have to worry about fall damage from any height. I can't remember if the later entries in the series will have fall damage or not, but I'm pretty sure this game doesn't.
Press the circle to enter the vault code.
Alright, so let's get this vault popped open and see what's inside, shall we?
Clues have led me to believe that the code for this vault is 792.
792. 1% completion.
Sly, you found a page from the Thievius Raccoonus.
Nice.
This page teaches old Drake Cooper's fast attack dive move. Press the triangle button to use it.
So now we can press triangle to dive. I was here. Let's give this a little test, shall we? So we got a nice little tuck and roll attack dive. So we can give that a try whenever we get into combat again. Yeah, combat in this game is also incredibly simple. Most enemies, like the throwing star guys and the mallet users and all that we've seen along the way, basically they usually only have one hit point. So if we hit them before they hit us, then we have succeeded at combat, basically. Now there are going to be some enemies later on, I think, that I don't remember if they're either just invincible to combat or if it's just very impractical to try and combat them. But we'll worry about crossing that bridge when we get to it. Right now, we've got this funky little key in a cage. So let's grab it. Smash and grab. We get our little victory fanfare, and we can immediately use that key to open up this door. Perfect. So yeah, those keys are basically going to act more or less like Mario 64 Power Stars. There are going to be certain props or doors in the environment that require a certain number of keys to actually progress further in the hub worlds. And each level has a key at the end, like what we just did. Because now we are entering the actual hub zone for this chapter of the game. So let's get a look at where we're gonna be for a while.
That blimp looks like the most secured location on this boat. If Raleigh's really as smart as his police files suggest, then that's where I'll find him.
Wonderful idea, but your plan is flawed.
Why?
Because it's impossible to get near him. To access Raleigh's blimp, you would have to sneak through that high voltage power tube. To do that without getting electrocuted, you'd have to destroy that power generator. And to do that, you need 2 more of Raleigh's treasure keys, which are heavily guarded.
Interesting. So when are you gonna get to the impossible part?
Fine, but I warned you. I've marked the areas you need to hit with holographic markers. Follow them to your objectives.
Thanks.
Don't mention it. It's your funeral.
Oh, don't worry, Bentley. You'll come around to our way of thinking eventually. But yeah, so each of these, green wisp aura things is the entrance to a new level. And you can see over there, this power generator we need to shut off is guarded by 3 locks, not just 1. So we are going to need to complete at least 2 more levels. Alright, here's our first overworld horseshoe. So in some places around the world, there will just be horseshoes sitting around as items. Not too unlike the Aku Aku masks in Crash Bandicoot.
Wow, you found a lucky charm. That'll protect you when you take any damage.
So now we have a golden aura on our lucky charm. It essentially serves the same purpose as 2 Aku Aku masks. We can take 2 bits of damage before we are actually susceptible to death. Also, it's definitely not at all concerning to just see a floating version of my head just, sitting on the ground. It's fine. Let's get ourselves an extra life, why not? Looks like there's another one over in here. I probably won't need too many of the extra lives, but better safe than sorry. Alright, now these hub world locations don't have clue bottles as far as I'm aware. I think this is mainly just a place to get between levels. So very much a hub zone sort of location. And you can see in the bottom right, we've got 3 silhouettes. One of them is the key, one of them is the vault. The other one looks like maybe an hourglass?
Better close those furnace doors. Jump and press the square button. That'll slam them shut.
So yes, this game also has a sort of time trial mechanic for stages that have been completed. We're not going to be diving too much into that, because we don't really need to. But worth noting that it is there, and the game does track it. I think they call them, in this game, they call them Master Thief Sprints.
Eureka! We're in the engine room. My analysis tells me that if you trace the spinning crankshaft all the way back to its source, you'll find Raleigh's treasure key. And sabotage his machine while you're at it.
So right there, I used the dive, which probably wasn't a great call, because I ended up falling into the water. And yeah, Sly doesn't like water. Thankfully, since we had the lucky charms, we got ejected back out of the water instead of just dying to it.
Down the circle button near the blue stealth auras to perform super sneaky thief moves.
Also, something interesting about the controls is if we're just standing on the ground and hitting square, we do this cane swing. But if we jump and hit square like we did earlier to shut those furnace doors, we do an overhead swing. I think one of the things that makes the attacks so fluid to use is that we don't stop in place while we're attacking. We can move around as freely as just regular running anyway. So we don't have to worry about our attacks kind of stopping us in place. Alright, let me take a look at this room real quick. Because we've got a couple of floating clue bottles here too. So we kind of bounce off of these doors. And no worries if you miss one that was just sitting on the door, because they'll just fall down. You can grab them at ground level there. Alright, so we want to watch out for these. Not sure why these propeller blades themselves are electric. Seems a little impractical. But maybe that's just a testament to how much of a risk taker Raleigh is with his machining. I do think this game does a very good job of clearly outlining where the danger points are. Because you can see the points where the blades cross, they have the wire kind of worn away. So I think that's very good signposting. Excuse me. We almost have enough for another lucky charm. But now we also have these lasers are alternating. So we want to make sure that we don't run into those as we're bouncing around. If the laser happens to be in your way, you can bounce between the furnace doors because they reopen pretty quickly. So you can just kind of stall for time until an opening presents itself. Alright, we're back up to gold charm level. Try not to get flattened like a pancake. Seems like an ideal scenario to me. Grab a couple of hidden clue bottles there. So in some of the later levels, the clue bottles are going to be scattered all over the place. And some of them are actually kind of tricky to find. There's the vault. So we just need to grab the remaining, what was it, 4 more clue bottles? Alright, so we have these little mini saves. Take a couple of hits to open. And I think they usually contain clue scrolls. I don't know that they ever have anything else in them. Let's grab this, and I think there was one more at the top of this mechanism up here, which I think we have to go back around to get to. We need to ride that piston up to the top.
Sly, you've got to find one more clue if you're gonna open this vault.
I'm working on it, Bentley. I'm working on it. Yep, there it is. Grab that. And now the safe is openable.
Circle to enter the vault code.
Alright, Bentley, what you got?
I can't believe I pieced this one together. Try 227.
Try 227. And there we have it.
Interesting. Old Sly Cooper's fast getaway raccoon roll. Stories claim
raccoon
she could
roll.
move faster rolling than anyone else could on the run. Hold down the triangle button to use this move. Switch between your power-ups using L2 and R2.
Alright, so, in addition to our diving attack, we now have a different ability that we can swap between. So we have our attacking dive roll, but now we have like a sonic spin dash type of roll. I mean, I think it's slightly faster. But I think the one thing I would say is kind of tragic about this particular game is that I don't remember ever using the power-ups like that very much. There's mainly 1 or 2 power-ups that kind of were my main go-tos in this game. I think they definitely improved upon that in later entries. There's a bit more use cases for some of the new power-ups and gadgets and stuff that they add in the future games. May as well grab some extra lives while we're out here. Very polite of them to restock the extra lives. I think we could also go back down to the water to get another charm, but I don't think we can actually carry anymore. I think this is our limit. Because I think normally there would be a charm up in this window, wouldn't there? I don't see any other real reason for it to exist otherwise, because there's nothing in here. So maybe that is a spot where another lucky charm would exist if we didn't already have our maximum capacity. But let's head into High Class Heist and maybe give our roll power a try. Because the dive is kind of nice, but ultimately we move so fast while attacking it's almost not even necessary.
And you know what that means? Tighter security. You're gonna have to be extra sneaky to get the treasure key here.
Now I did do a couple of challenge runs for this game years ago at this point, I think. where there was one playthrough I went through and did basically what equated to like a pacifist run. Just attacking as few enemies as possible. And then I did another one where I did a perfect stealth. I did perfect stealth in every individual level. Or basically anywhere there's like these alarms, or oh, I think I did them both at the same time actually. Basically I did a no detection run where there's those guards that have flashlights, kind of like that cephalopod fellow out front that we've eliminated twice now in the overworld area. Basically not eliminating them, but also not getting detected by them. And there's one level in particular that I remember early on in this world actually that made that incredibly difficult. So this one I flubbed a little bit because I forgot that the eye lasers start tracking really, really early. Like they start locking on from quite a distance away. Alright, well here's the vault. So remember that. Remember that for later once we actually have all the clue bottles. But there are some levels that were particularly challenging for doing a no kills, no detection playthrough. And it was mainly down to those flashlight guards just presenting a bit of trouble. We got some belly floppers. They don't even have weapons. But I just love segments like this. They really set up some good set pieces for like stealth sections. It's just really fun dodging those lasers, jumping between the lily pads like that. It's just really fun stuff. Take a little sneak around here. Sneak around the back, nobody gonna see me here. Now, one thing that is quite an adjustment for me in particular with this game is the camera is inverted in its controls. And there's no way to change it in the settings that I'm aware of. So basically, moving the stick to the right hands the camera so it starts looking to the left. Saw an extra life out there, but we're missing a clue bottle still. So I might take another quick run through of this level just to find it. But first, since we're at the end here, there's that extra life just hanging out over there. For now, let's grab the key, because we can re-enter levels. So we should have no problems with coming back and finding whatever remaining clue bottles are left over. Also, free extra life, because why not? If it's literally just right here. Now there are some very, very useful things that we can acquire by opening up these different vaults. So that's why I'm actually going out of my way to try and get them. Because some of the abilities that we can unlock are incredibly useful. Like, they're game changers. Alright, let's keep our eyes peeled after I get this alarm dealt with. And see if we can spot that final clue bottle, because we're only missing one. Thankfully, we don't have to collect them all in a single run if we don't want to. Now, I can't pan the camera up or down. I can only do horizontal camera control. The only way to get vertical camera control is to go into the first-person camera, which is also partially inverted. The verticality is inverted, but side to side is totally fine. Let's see. I'm thinking I might have missed something back here. What happens if we collect 100 coins while we have 2 charms already? Oh, it just converts into an extra life. That's handy. I was just checking to make sure I didn't miss any clue bottles back here. This hallway looks clear. Let's keep rolling. I will say the one major weakness of the roll, besides obviously we're rolled up so we can't attack anything, is mainly dealing with even the slightest little bumps. The roll will get caught up on any physical obstacles like that, where normally we could just kind of short hop over it. I want to get up here and take a look around. Aha! Now there it is. And that's what I mean about some of these clue bottles being pretty sneakily hidden. Also, I think I got the camera stuck. Did not know I could do that here. Alright, well, it's been fun, everybody, but I've got another mission to go on, so I'll see y'all later. There we go. I figured eventually the camera would be like, wait, hold on a second. It's a good thing they have fail-safes for stuff like that. Alright, back to business here.
Whoever thought this code up knew what they were doing. Dial in 436.
4, 3, 6. Alright, what have we got in here?
These are the blueprints of Raleigh's entire operation. I wonder... Yes! I can wire this info directly into your binocucom. It'll show you the position of nearby clues and breakable objects.
Now, I don't remember exactly how the blueprints unlockable works. So, let's just take a quick look here. It said breakable objects. So yeah, breakable objects. You can see them show up as with these like orange markers. So we can see breakable objects through the binocucom. So it gives us a little bit of an option to make finding some things a little bit easier. We do have to go into the Binocucom to actually access that information, which means we're standing still and having to look around that way. But still not a terrible thing to have at our disposal. Alright, let's head up here.
Hey Sly, you can adjust the game camera using the right analog stick. And to bring the camera behind you, click it.
So yeah, we've got our good old camera centering. Alright, so we've got this guy here. We've got a little bit of sneaky sneak. Take care of him. This was the stage that gave me a lot of trouble when I was trying to do the no detection pacifist run. And I'll point out specifically.
Those rats got pegged.
Raleigh appears to have booby-trapped this entire place.
I'm gonna enjoy this.
Don't you get it, Sly? If you step on that rug, forget about becoming a master thief. You'll be a master dartboard.
Wait a second. What if I jumped into that barrel for protection?
I don't know. It looks pretty risky and very unsanitary.
Only one way to find out.
Sanitary schmanitary, get in that barrel. See, we can sneak around in this barrel. We got our little tippy toe run. Hello, Tie Bomber. Welcome on in. Sly is a wonderful game. I couldn't wait to get back into playing it again. So, you know, this is all fine. We don't have to worry about that. Now, trying to get the barrel past this guy without taking him out, that was already the first obstacle when trying to do this pacifist. Trying to get the barrel past this boy without getting torched was a bit of a nightmare. Just a little bit. Because, like, yeah, you have to keep this barrel with us.
If you stayed still inside the barrel, the guard won't be able to see you, even if he shines his flashlight on you.
This part was also a little bit tricky because of having to sneak past like that instead of, you know, taking him out manually. Don't worry, he lost track of me. It's fine. I do want to get those clue bottles, though. So I'll wait till he turns around the other way. And we'll take care of him. Yeah, doing this stage in Pacifist No Detection was quite a challenge. But a pretty fun one. Let me remind myself, can hit that. I can hit that bottle from the ground just with the overhead swing. Pretty nice. Yeah, trying to get past this guy? I can't even remember how I did this. Because I'm pretty sure I still needed I still need the barrel up ahead. I cannot remember how I did this pacifist no detection. Huh. Because sneaking past him, it would be impossible for me to keep the barrel. Yeah, I don't know. Gotta keep grabbing our clue bottles though, because we've got 30 more for this whole stage. Already about halfway there. Just kind of creep through here. I think probably what I did was, well, let me look up here. Is there another barrel up here? I don't think there is. Probably what I had to do was at some point I did have to ditch the barrel and just platform around these sections so that I wouldn't touch any of the carpets and thus not trigger these dart shooters. So I think that's possible. You would just, you know, like walk along this railing instead of doing anything else. Yeah, I think it mainly was just like a platforming thing. Instead of doing stealth in the barrel, I ended up doing stealth outside of the barrel. Just kind of platforming around differently. Alright, that should work. Just take our little barrel self over here. And before moving on, platform up here. Grab ourselves a couple of sneakily hidden clue bottles. Alright, just wanted to make sure I was past them. Only 2 more. 2 more clue bottles. Now the question is, where did I leave them behind? Yeah, we might do another quick run of the level. Thankfully, these early levels are pretty short, so we can just take a quick jaunt through again. And that'll become even more true once we get one of the power-ups from the vaults. Now, I don't remember off the top of my head whether each vault specifically contains the same power-up every time, or if it's sort of like a sequential unlock system where any vault that's opened, it only tracks like how many vaults have been opened up to that point. I don't remember how this game tracks that information. I'll have to test that sometime. Let's see, if I were doing this pacifist, I think probably I keep doing the barrel strats up until here, then we ditch the barrel entirely and just never use it again. I'm also trying to keep an eye out for any clue bottles. There's something break. Now those green markers, those are clue bottles. So they're above us right now. So if I were trying to get across this pacifist, probably what I would be doing is trying to jump over this. And I think that would, at that point, I would probably, you know, reset a pacifist run of the level and not really, you know, worry about it. I believe here, yeah, we can just platform around that entirely. So yeah, it's back here. jump on top of this thing? Probably a bad idea, yeah. But then, you know, we just jump around these spotlights rather than sneaking through them with the... Sneaking through them with the barrel. This guy's a little bit of a toughie. But we can do that to avoid detection. And then just keep on moving. So, stuff like that. Trying to remember, how do I get in here? Ah, this one's it's a swinging bookcase. Alright. If that doesn't show how long it's been since I've last played. Alright, I need to look and see. Yeah, going backwards there is a lot tougher than just getting through it the first time. So I think I am gonna go grab the barrel back. Just because it'll make this, you know, safe for me to navigate at all. Particularly right here. I don't remember how I got through that pacifist. Because I would have had to leave the barrel behind. But whatever the case.
Press the circle to enter.
Vault code time.
With the help of a straight edge and compass, the answer was simple. Dial in 242.
2, 4, 2. Alright, what do we got in here?
Outstanding! Another page from the Phoebius Raccoonus. This one features Dev Cooperinda's slow motion jumps.
Ooh.
He used this to get by all kinds of airborne threats. Hit the triangle button while in the air to slow down time.
Now that is one of the power-ups that I consider to be a game changer. Being able to slow down time at will in the air, even if it's only in the air, that can still help a lot in certain circumstances. The only thing is, it does kind of make it difficult to execute double jumps.
Sly, see that machine wheel? If my knowledge of mechanical engineering serves me right, applying significant rotational torque to achieve maximum velocity will yield a positive result.
You mean something good might happen if I can get the wheel to spin fast enough?
Isn't that what I just said?
In fewer words, yes. Basically, they just felt the need to explain that. Probably needed some explanation after playtesting. But now it's time for the fire down below.
Temperature's reading way off the charts in here. This must be the power source for the storm machine.
Power source of the storm machine. Also, the vault is at the beginning of the level. So I think the ideal strategy here will be grab all the clues as we're running through the level the first time, and then once we finish the level, we re-enter it real quick and get back to that vault from re-entering the level where it's a lot faster. It is also good that they have that mechanism explained for the wheel, because it is also used in the stage. That we have to use that the wheel mechanism to actually get to in the first place. So that's also pretty nifty design-wise. And then we just swing across here. Get all kind of wibble wobble. Bonk. Alright, let's crawl up here. Don't mind the molten material hanging out below us. Totally fine. Definitely nothing risky happening here. A little bit of precise platforming here. I'll just jump down to grab that one. Not too tricky to just ride across again. And go grab some coins along the way, not a big problem. Check and make sure nothing in that direction. I think we're all good behind us. Yeah, the later stages are going to get a lot more expansive in terms of the size of the area that we're going to be traversing. So it's going to be more difficult to really guarantee that we've checked every corner of every level. Just hit that one from here. Got some more fire breather here. It is also nice that the cane does pick up items too. So you can basically use it to extend our reach for grabbing coins and stuff. Makes cleaning up those coin explosions a little easier. Alright. So basically we want to avoid the spotlight and get that flaming ball on the right to come down this conveyor belt system and bust open this door right here. That way we can get through. Keeping in mind we've still got searchlights across the whole thing. Alright, there's all the clue bottles. And here's the key. So now that we have that, we'll just re-enter the level super quick. Grab the vault from the beginning of the level and see what's inside. Now it is a little tiny bit rude that because Sly auto runs out of the level trigger, that he just immediately jumps off of this tower where the level is located, so we kind of have to platform back up to it. Still not a big deal, though. Alright, let's pop open this vault here.
Press the circle to enter the vault code. I'm unbeatable! No code can stand before me! It's got to be 579!
5, 7, 9. Alright, water break time.
Interesting. Chris Cooper's dive collection technique. This move is an extension of the dive move you already know. Just jump and hit the triangle button near breakable objects for some fast breaking, fast collecting action.
Oh, so we got an extension to our dive move. That's also something that's kind of interesting, is not everything is, you know, its own unique move. Sometimes they build upon them in levels, sort of. So now we have our dive roll, but we also have a ground slam with our dive power equipped. Just want to try that out on some breakable objects, because not only was it fast breaking, it also advertised fast collecting. And fast collecting sounds like a pretty good deal to me. So let's bust this thing up, shall we? Unlock the cage, and but there we go. Lots of coins from that one too. Also, that animation is pretty cool for objects that are unbreakable, like the cage that surrounded the power system there, the power generator. If we try to attack it, we get a little unique animation and sound for it, which is really nice. I like that they have stuff like that.
Astonishing! All my calculations led me to believe you had failed to knock out that generator.
Never was good at math.
Well, here's a real test for you.
Sly.
I found a way out to Raleigh's hideout, but unfortunately, it is doomed to failure.
You're not gonna tell me I have to shoot myself out of that cannon.
I'm afraid that's the only way.
Now you're talking.
You're really scaring me, man. Anyway, to get inside that thing, you had to steal all 7 of Raleigh's treasure keys.
So what are we waiting for? You show me those hollow what's-its?
You mean my holographic markers?
Yeah. And I'll swipe whatever it takes to get shot out of that cannon and steal back my family's thievius raccoonus.
Alrighty. So cannon. Get shot out of a cannon. We're gonna need 7 keys. And that, I believe, is completing every level in the entire hub world. And I think that's gonna be the same for every world moving forward as well. Ooh. That platform was not as solid as I was hoping. Alright, let me stick up here for a second. And I can do this. Get rid of you. Alright, let's go to the gunboat graveyard. And let's try out this new extension to our dive move. Ooh. Yo, Fortnite and Sly Cooper? But yeah, flogging is no fun. Unfortunately, that guy is gonna get flogged. Sorry, buddy. Hate to do it to you. Ooh, man, almost body slammed me. I don't know if the fast collecting is... It would make sense if it was just for coins. So we'll have to see if we can find a breakable object that drops a bunch of coins. Trying to latch onto this center. There we go. Think there's anything else. So yeah, just taking a look around. We're gonna wrap around to there in a moment. We've got to go a bit of a roundabout way to get there. So yeah, those clue bottles are underneath a constant searchlight. The idea being that we come back to that after we break this alarm system. Then we can go back and grab them, no problem at all. But like, what are these things? Just crawling around here, and then there's just glowing eyeball jellyfish thing inside these tanks. And it's like, what purpose do these serve? What could it possibly be? I do also like segments like that where they recontextualize the same enemies. Because we've fought the throwing star type enemies before. But we never had to deal with them while also being at a super long distance away and having to jump over a gap while they're throwing stuff. So I appreciate when things get shaken up a little bit like that. Segments like this, where we've just got a bunch of little platforms and a ranged threat. Just consistently making things... It's not just platforming, it's not just combat, it's a mixture of both. And we have all the clue bottles. And there's the vault. Right next to the key. Delightful. What do you got, Bentley?
Input 719.
Alright, 719. Got you, buddy. What we got in here?
Oh, you're lucky, Sly. This page features Harikunojo's coin magnet technique.
Ooh.
All she had to do was stand near money, and it would magically jump into her purse. From now on, you'll automatically collect any coins you come near.
Now that is nice quality of life upgrade right there. I was here. So now we don't have to even worry very much about collecting coins with me swinging my cane around like I have been. Now it should be even easier to just, you know, do my usual stuff and collect coins as a side effect. Yep. I don't even have to make direct contact with the coins anymore. Ain't that delightful? And that jump's a little precise to make, so I don't think it's worth me going for that extra life, especially since there are much, much easier extra lives for us to farm if we really needed to. But you may notice something different about this stage's entrance, specifically what we have available in the stage in the lower right. This stage only has a key, and that's because this stage is a little different from what we've been dealing with so far. We have our first vehicle level.
You found it, Sly. This is where Raleigh's gang of crabs stashes his sunken
He's
treasure.
got a crab gang?
Use your sub to blast him.
I forgot about this.
Controls the sub. Give it a try.
So we got a twin stick shooter.
Use the right analog stick to fire its gun.
Left stick to move, right stick to aim and auto fire.
Drive the sub in one direction while firing in another. To earn a treasure key, you'll need to collect all 40 chests. Do not let a crab take one into a tube.
Alright, so we need to break these chests by shooting them, while also preventing the crabs from taking them by shooting the crabs. So basically, just shoot everything. The sound effects are so funny though. Whenever they get their claws on one of the chests, they make that little honking sound. Oh, get back here, buddy. Oh, get back here, buddy. Don't you dare. See, it gets a little chaotic. But as long as you focus down the crabs, especially the ones that have their hands on one of the chests, then it's not usually too bad. When a couple of them get their hands on a chest at the same time, though, it gets a little more chaotic.
Congratulations, you did it!
Key acquired. And that is the outlier stage for this world. It's just the one vehicle stage out of everything else. It's an interesting little deviation from the main game mechanics, though. But now it's time for us to pull the ultimate circus trick and launch ourselves out of a cannon. Let's go. Hop on in here. Ready, aim, fire! And just bust right in to the eye of the storm.
How delightful! We have a guest. The only thing is, I hate unexpected guests!
Listen, Raleigh, wipe up my family and steal what's mine? You better expect company.
Oh, I'm ever so sorry. How sloppy of me not to finish the job. Obviously, we should have snuffed you out as well. So, without further ado, let me make amends by what? Bloating to gargantuan size and squashing you like the insignificant bug that you are!
Bring it on.
Man's allergic to bees, but he uses that allergy to his advantage. So yeah, this guy's gonna be bouncing around. But then his allergy wears off. His allergic reaction kind of wears off. Now, we have to juggle him around on a single platform. Give him a little whack on the noggin. Now the platforms sink as soon as he jumps on them. Or, briefly afterward. Except for the last one. So we have to continue to make forward movement. I swung slightly too early, so that first hit bounced. And now we're back to being on a single platform, but this time we get to play a little jump rope. Just throwing in a little bit of randomness in there.
Beaten me! Well, gloat all you want, Sly Cooper. You're no match for Mugshot, my villainous cohort in Utah. You will see. Mesa City is so well guarded, a snake couldn't slither in without setting off alarms.
Raleigh's section of the Thievius Raccoonus held detailed instructions on how to perform my ancestor Ryoichi Cooper's ninja spire jump. a technique he developed while sneaking into the thickly fortified castles of feudal Japan. Finding a way off Raleigh's boat got a little tricky with the untimely arrival of Inspector Fox, who, failing to find me, busted Raleigh and his crew. With the storm machine out of commission, boats found their way back onto the ocean, and the mystery of the Welsh Triangle faded from memory. My gang and I loafed around England for a while, enjoying the pleasant weather, and then headed back home, excited for our next heist.
I took the liberty of pinning your mission map up on the wall. You can use it to warp directly to any levels you've already visited.
So that's a pretty handy feature, so we don't have to go back into the hub world and manually navigate to each level for, say, cleaning up clue bottles or doing the time trials, the Master Thief sprints.
We're all set to go to Mesa City.
Hold on, Murray's doing something different now that he's blocking a different map. Now he's jamming out to some tunes. Look at those styling headphones he's got. I wish my headphones had an antenna like that, just sticking out of the side.
We're all set to go to Mesa City.
We've got no time to rest. Mesa City awaits.
It had been a while since I'd been back in the US. Next up, the notorious mugshot. Ruthless muscle of the Fiendish Five. What he lacked in brains, he definitely made up for in brawn. Turns out he wasn't always that way. He grew up as the run of the litter. A neighborhood weakling.
He has his
The
pinky
only
out
friends he
with
could
the
turn to were
lollipop.
usually found on the big screen.
He's
It
got
was
his
there that he
pinky out.
spotted his first gangster, and he knew instantly that that's what he wanted to be. He spent the rest of his youth working real hard to get there, fueled on his dreams of great power and respect.
He still has
With
the
enough
same covered
perspiration
lollipop in
to
his
realize
garbage
that
can.
dream.
Oop.
He'd become a hard-boiled, street-brawling, tough-as-nails gangster, ensuring that he'd never be picked on or pushed around again. So he's holed up in Mesa City, huh? I've always wanted to go to that thriving American boom town.
Sly Cooper in Sunset Snake Eyes. I love the titles of these chapters. It just adds so much. Alright, rocky start. Immediately starting off with some clue bottles. Keep out and stay out? No, I don't think I will.
Hey, Sly, I thought you said Mesa City was going to be loud and busy. This looks more like a ghost town.
Something's happened. Where is everyone?
I don't know, but it's starting to give me the creeps. What do you say we take off?
And miss all the fun? Besides, I want to try out that new move I got from Raleigh's section of the Thievius Raccoonus.
You mean the ninja spire jump?
Yeah, do me a favor and read me the instructions again.
To landeth safely upon diminutive points, leapeth lively and presseth the triggering device with the round geometrical object emblazoned upon it.
So jump and hit the circle button to land on narrow spots.
That's a rough translation.
I love how they just randomly had like ye old English or Ryoichi Cooper, you know, a very like feudal Japan kind of thing, like not really related to the old English like at all. Look at him go. He do the tiptoe and then he do the bonk. What a combo. I love the ambient tracks for this area, by the way. Something about them is really cool. Raleigh's area is all like very sneaky, stealthy, very chill soundtrack for the most part. But Mugshot's soundtrack starts to kind of pick up the intensity a little bit. It's all groovy and stuff. No. Oh man, and I get that electric organ off on the side too, whenever the combat picks up. Now, I've said before, and I'll say again, I do love when a game does a really good job with dynamic soundtracks. And the fact that it picks up the intensity of the music whenever combat happens, that's always a really cool touch. Also, literal signposting. The best darn eggs, or the best darn eggs. So that sign clearly doesn't belong here, but the arrow is still relevant to point out, hey, bounce on the mattress. Go ahead, jump on that mattress, see what happens. No. Just check and make sure I haven't missed anything. I don't know what the range is on the clue bottles, but since we can see one from here, I think we could test pretty confidently what the range would be on clue bottles. Clue bottle detection. Oh, right. The other thing I forgot. The blueprint unlocks are per area. So we had the blueprint for Raleigh's area. But since we're not in Raleigh's area anymore, we're going to have to find a different blueprint in one of the vaults in this section.
What's with those flashing lights?
The latest in high-tech security. Electronic floor sensors. Step on them and you're a goner.
Nice touch.
They're safe to walk on while flashing, but it also means they're about to switch to a different sector.
Alright, so we have a new type of laser detection built in here. Also, notice 40 clue bottles is our maximum for this area. So we're slowly starting to ramp up the number of total clue bottles per stage. Ball and chain master there. I do love how each area has their own, like, each area is very distinctive. Like, this is a very, very different vibe from Raleigh's area. And like, just look at that man. Look at him shuffling the deck of cards. What do you think his attack's gonna be? A fan of Ace of Spades cards. So I think that entire deck of cards is only the Ace of Spades. I believe, if I recall correctly, yes. I've gotten tripped up by this clue bottle before. So it sticks out in my memory pretty clearly. That is one clue bottle I will not be missing again. And then we got more dogs. Now here's the vault out in this little area, but we do not have enough clue bottles for that. We haven't found them all yet. I do like how these guys bust through the fences. That's pretty cool. We're up to 30. I think there were more of them up here. I think we can reach that from here. Yes, okay. Kind of hard to tell with the camera angle sometimes. And I don't have a whole lot of control over the camera in the vertical sense. I have none. But let's see if we can find all the clue bottles here. Get an early start on grabbing all the vaults. So I imagine, based on the way that these vaults are kind of laid out and how they're accessed, they're probably set up to be, you know, the same. Like, each vault contains a specific unlockable within them, rather than it being a sequential unlock. So since we got all of the clue bottles, real quick, may as well just pop back, grab the vault, since it's, you know, probably closer to access it from this direction than going back to the beginning of the area and running all the way back out here. Now let's see what we got in our first vault of the new zone.
Press the circle to enter the vault code. A little bit of higher mathematics and voila! Dial in 314.
Higher mathematics, huh? So we're going with pi. .14 1592.
Outstanding! You've uncovered Rob McCooper's patented explosive hat technique. Use the triangle button to toss your cap. Then use the triangle button again to detonate it. Better back off to a safe distance first.
Alright, so now we can set up a hat mine. We'll test that out in an area where we have a little bit more ground, so we can actually stand at a distance from it. So we just toss out a hat, pull out a new one, and then poof. I'm gonna wait so I don't get smushed. So we'll have to test that out with some enemies later on and see if it triggers at all if they walk over it, or if it's manual detonation only. One way or another, we'll find out. Let's get ourselves into Mesa City proper. We officially are on Mugshot's turf. Music's a little bit more chilled out again.
Mugshot certainly isn't shy. Okay, so we know he's here somewhere, but how are we supposed to find him? Mesa City is a big place.
Given that he's a bulldog, it seems only reasonable to assume that he'd choose to live in a giant fire hydrant.
That's some sound logic, Sly. Now you just need to find a way to break into the building's base.
Oh, I'm sure I'll think of something.
So, the idea of the dog living inside the giant fire hydrant, sure it's symbolic and all that. Sorry, Mugshot, didn't mean to cut you off there. Look at the way these guys strut around with their guns out. He's strutting. But yeah, the idea of a dog living in the fire hydrant is basically like... that would be somewhat equivalent to... like, symbolically speaking, that would be a kind of equivalent to a cat living in a giant litter box. Or a human living in a giant toilet. Like, I get the fire hydrant is symbolic and all that. But I don't know, maybe a kennel would be more accurate? And more fitting? Anyway, let's go to the casino. Take our mind off of things. I'll say at the very least there's gonna be a lot of smashables up ahead, I'm sure. Ah, the lever. I forgore.
Nice job getting in, but look out for those guards. Mugshot's got those machine gun toting dogs hunting like a pack.
Shouldn't be any problem. So yeah, definitely make sure you've got some cover around in case you get spotted. So you saw how quick they can really just pick up and start shooting. And I do think it's interesting, thematically speaking, that the slot machines that we can break in this stage, they do drop a lot of money. Like, they drop plenty of coins. Like, it's very useful, but it's also, it makes sense that the slot machines would have a bunch of money in them. Alright. Can't grab those clue bottles without getting spotted. At least not easily. And we can sneak over the top. And just keep on moving this way. Thankfully, they don't hear the clue bottles smashing over here. But I do also want those clue bottles. So we take these guys out. Break all the bottles for more money. Because why not? Coins are pretty much always relevant, because they're either giving us extra hit points in the form of the Lucky Charms, or they're giving us extra lives. So really no reason not to grab as many as we can. These $ chandeliers. There's some floating clue bottles over there. I think our best bet is to take this guy out first. So we do have to be kind of close for the coin magnet power up to take effect, but boy, it cleans up real good. Especially for these larger explosions of coins like these, like the slot machines have. Very useful. Incredibly useful, even. Now, there are some clue bottles hidden up here amidst the greenery as well. Make sure we don't miss those. Just kind of grab these as we go. Whoops, that's gonna be a problem. So now the alarm's been set off. I need to make sure we weren't getting hit by that guy again. So that's what it sounds like when the alarm goes off. Also, there's our lovely friend mugshot there. Big arms, and definitely skipped leg day 100% of the time. Man has basically no legs. Probably not healthy. And I love how the enemies have like a unique animation that plays whenever they actually score a hit. Because it's not like they can actually hit us during our invincibility frames anyway. So they just have their own little unique animations that play as sort of a mini celebration. Which is a nice touch. I always appreciate that little extra bit of detail and characterization. It just makes the experience feel that much more rich and filling. Rather than just being purely mechanical in nature. Where it's like, yes, we could just have the enemy continue to do their attacking animation even though it doesn't do anything. Or we could have them, you know, like celebrate their success in their own unique ways. I appreciate stuff like that. Deal with this guy first. Excuse me. Those guys also drop a decent amount of money. Yeah, this level design is fun too. Where it's like, I wonder why this place is all flooded. But they've got like the security system set up on the on these wheels here. So like the roulettes are all, they've got all these security lasers on them. Definitely makes the platforming feel pretty interesting, having these sort of diverse environments to navigate. Now there's 39 out of 40. Unless that 40th one is right here, which it is. Thankfully we got them all. Because once we jump down to that final roulette table, we can't, that roulette wheel, we can't really get back. And that's where the key is.
Man, I'm getting swift with deciphering these codes. Dial 338.
Sly, I'm getting swifty with it. You can't stop me.
Okay, this page is from your hyperactive ancestor,
Oh.
B.F. Cooper.
Hyperactive,
He
huh?
discovered a way to speed up the clock. Perfect for those long stakeouts. Just hold down the triangle button to use it.
Now, fast is another one that's surprisingly a game changer. Now, most of the time, fast can be, you know, a liability. But we'll try that on the next level. First thing we gotta do is...
Sly, this giant roulette wheel is spinning too fast to jump counterclockwise around it. You'll have to jump in the other direction to try to land on the green section.
So we need to land on the green section. Thankfully, we have a power-up that lets us slow down time in the air. Which makes using slow very, very helpful here. Because it makes getting that landing very much easier to do. So we can really line up our landing. So having the slowdown power up is super helpful there. Super handy. So now we've taken care of that, let me re-equip the fast. And just hold down triangle. You can see their animations play a little bit faster. Oh wow, love that. The soundtrack just, oh wow. That's fun. All right, next up, over here. A little bit of alarm type noises. All right, so at the dog track. Here's one of the tougher level types.
Hurry, what's going on down there?
Well, I drove to this hot dog stand for a quick snack, and the next thing you know, I'm getting challenged to a race by these gangster dogs.
Is there a key in it for the winner?
Yeah, 3 times around the track for a key.
It's all you, man. Drive the van with the left analog stick. And if you manage to pick up any nitro power-ups, you can get a boost by pressing the square button. Go get them.
I'm on it.
All right, left analog stick only, unless we get nitro. I will say this. These may be stages I have to repeat multiple times because I do not remember the courses super accurately. And sometimes the AI can be a little bit rude. Sometimes the driving is also a little bit funky. But we'll give it our best shot. These were definitely the stages that gave me the most trouble when I was younger. Can't remember, I think 3 is the most we can carry. Just trying to use my boost anytime we've got a straightaway. Otherwise, taking our corners as tightly as we can. I think that other one in front of us might be too far ahead. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get that nitro. Yep, no dice this time. The second ain't too bad for a first time through.
Those crummy dogs are bumping me right and left.
Get back in there and bang them back. You need that key.
So let's try it again. I'll say these are 100% the toughest levels for me to actually get the key from. Because I can't afford to be going out of my way to grab those nitro containers when they're that far out. I think having nitro for those corners where I swing wide could be very helpful. Seems like that's where I could save a lot of time. Dang, you broke that one too. These are definitely some of the toughest stages. I don't really know what much else to say about them. They are just very tricky for me. And I will say, they've programmed the AI to be ruthless and unrelenting for these races. Because yes, spoiler alert, this isn't the only one we're going to be dealing with in the game. Thankfully, they only do this twice in the entire game, as far as I remember. But the second race is even harder than the first one. So imagine this, but harder. And that's essentially what we're looking at. We just gotta beat the mariachi dogs. And we're all set. Awesome. Hey, let me get my hot dogs. Hey, man. And this is the first time we get to see someone other than Sly collect a key. And they get a bit of a longer animation because it doesn't happen very much in the game. But yes, look forward to the second race that we get to do in the game. We're not going to see it for a while, but just know it's there. We'll be seeing it eventually. Like, overall, mechanically speaking, it's not too bad. It actually handles pretty decently. And it's about as simple as it gets. It's literally just left analog stick to, drive forward and steer. And then just the square button to use a boost. It's pretty simple controls. The only thing that makes those stages really tough is mainly how ruthless the AI can be. Just the driving paths are I've really got to be on top of my routing if I want to stand a chance. So dealing with the other drivers is very difficult.
Okay, so what do I do?
Provide some covering fire for him with that blasting station.
Sweet.
Use the left analog
It's not a turret, it's a
stick to aim.
blasting
Press the
station.
square button to fire.
I'll do my best.
Alright, another unique stage type. Murray's over there. And all we need to do is just protect him.
Oh, I'm going in.
And basically what we need to do is prevent him from taking damage from enemies.
Nice shot.
So we just gotta keep a super close eye on where Murray's at and where he's going to be. And don't accidentally shoot him. Because I think we can actually damage him if we're not careful. Oh, I see you over there.
Bingo.
Thankfully he had a charm for that. Because those barrels are also,
I'm half done.
radioactive, and apparently that makes them explosive.
Oh no.
Don't shoot those. That's a fake out. That is the real thing. I do kind of love that they have these little fake out moments like that. They're running quick. And you just gotta be really on top of these guys.
We did it!
Pretty ruthless in these too. At least with these stages though, if you do mess them up, the enemies come from the same places at the same time. So they can be memorized. And I think that one I was kind of operating off of muscle memory. For the most part. Because I definitely did not actively remember where things were coming from. They do also have a bit of signposting for those stages as well. Like, the garage doors are pretty brightly colored. So they draw attention to themselves and make it a little easier to see where enemies could potentially be coming from. Let's see. Alright, we've gotten all the keys from the stage we have access to now. So let me handle these guys so that we don't get interrupted while we're doing our 3-key unlock over here. Excuse me. Alright. Just take the car jack off of here. And boom. Easy entry. Well, the problem of getting inside has been solved. So let's get on in here to the internal zone. Hey, buddy. How's it going, man?
Would you look at that ugly mug?
I am, and I find it infinitely fascinating.
Huh?
My X-ray detection device.
Sly's genuine confusion.
The secret elevator to Mugshot's penthouse is contained within that giant head.
So, how do we get in?
Behind this locked wall, there's a lever that summons the elevator. But you need all 7 keys to open it up.
I'm on it.
Alright, the next time we get one of those Binocucom cutscenes, there is a, there's a little bit of a funny thing I can do. That it doesn't really do very much, but it's just kind of like a fun little extra thing that can be done during those cutscenes, and I'll explain it more once we come up to one. Because basically what we can do is during those cutscenes, you know how Sly and usually Bentley, whoever's in the other portrait, they have like they have their character portraits in the lower corners of the screen. I can actually move those around a little bit using the analog sticks. So it's just, it doesn't really do anything. It's just a fun little extra interactive thing that can be done. Also an interesting change up in the level structure here. We have something that's more akin to like a side-scrolling platformer. You hush. Don't you awooga at me. I don't need you going here. Let's just bounce past these guys. Grab our clue bottles along the way. Hopefully there's no clue bottles that they themselves are guarding. So here we've got these nice little ledge sneaking spots that we can utilize. Here it's as simple as just stand behind cover. We got a bunch of clue bottles just strung up on these moving ropes here. Try to grab them as we go through. All right, I think that's all of them. Trying not to be too close to the building while I'm bouncing, because the windows and the ledges actually will push me out a little bit. Oops. Unfortunately, we missed one. And I don't think there's a way for us to go back from here unless we actively, like, choose to die. So we did miss one bottle back there. Keep that one in mind. So we make sure we get all the other ones along the way that we can reach. Yeah, 28. Ooh, camera's having a little bit of trouble deciding where I should go. Yeah, okay, so that's the only clue bottle we're missing is that one at the air conditioning unit bouncing section. We can run back real quick and grab that one. Should not be too much of a problem. Just immediately go back in. So speed up can be kind of funny to look at these guys sometimes. Just watch them do their sped up animations. So yeah, I don't find myself using the speed up very often either. I think the slowdown in midair is way more generally useful. I can only think of a few, like maybe one or two specific circumstances where having time go faster, having faster in-game speed would be beneficial. And that would mainly be for, you know, times where you have to wait for searchlights or lasers or something like that to line up so that we can actually move through. Speeding up time can make that a little bit easier. Won't have to wait for quite as long. But me personally, I find that to be a very, very specific use case. Ultimately, the slowdown in midair is more generally useful. Also, nice Sly Cooper graffiti on the wall there. It's a little bit low res, but it's pretty cool to see it. And something I didn't consider the first time I went through here is that the slowdown would also be super useful for grabbing those mid-air bottles, because it's easier to line up an overhead swing to actually hit the bottles as I'm bouncing down. You know, even with the coin magnet, I still find myself doing the swinging a lot. Just swinging the cane, because it can do long-range coin grabbing. Very useful.
Press the circle to enter the vault code.
Well, let's see, we got another vault code. Alright, feed it to me, Bentley.
I could have broken this code in my sleep. The combination is 565.
Alrighty, 5, 6, 5. What do we have here?
You found the blueprints for
The
motion
blueprints.
additions to Mesa City.
Alright.
With these files, I'll be able to help you find all his clues and breakables. Just look through your binocucom to get the information.
Alright, so for the other 2 stages we have left, we should be able to find any hidden clues that perhaps we would have trouble finding on our own. Also, I feel like that's supposed to take me back out of the stage. There we go. The hitbox is a little bit particular, wanted me to jump, I guess. Alright, so this guy's guarding that doorway. We're heading straight to the top. Now this was a stage that I think gave me a lot of trouble when trying to find all clues. Because there's stuff like this. Whoops. Oops, sorry, buddy. Oof. Hopefully that didn't hurt anybody too bad. Hello, Ainra. Yes. I needed Sly Cooper in my life again.
Can't climb on them, but with your thieving skills, I bet you can pull it off.
Thank you, Bentley. I appreciate your confidence in my thieving ability. Yeah, I was just thinking about like, oh man, we're gonna run through the Sly series, and the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what, I just kind of want to play through the series now. Like, I don't want to wait any longer, because I love these games. While we're running around grabbing coins and clue bottles. How are you doing, Ainrot? Always good to see you. There's the key.
Forget it. Your cane will never smash that thick glass. You'll need something super heavy, like that big wrecking ball up there.
Yes, Sly agrees. Even better, this is one where I have to manually move it forward. So now you can see, left analog stick, I can move Bentley around. And I can also move Sly around with the right stick. No. Yes. A fun little extra thing that doesn't really actively do anything, but just a fun little bonus thing. I don't really know what to call it. Yeah, I have had a bit of a thing for collectathon style games. I've kind of started growing away from that style of game over the years. I just don't have the time to really fully appreciate a collectathon for its full collectathon values. But there are some that still have, like this, like Sly Cooper is very nostalgic for me, so it's always gonna have a special place for me. Drop a couple more vehicles down to street level. Not that I'm really meaning to, I just need the clue bottles, and it's not my fault the magnets on them are pretty weak. So just me being on the vehicle kind of dislodges it. Oops. I have played Nier Automata. I had the same kind of thing with that game too, where it's like, you know, I've gotten all the endings. I think that's probably a good enough point for me. I'm not gonna, you know, go out and grab literally every single item. But wow. Nier Automata was a very fun experience. I think I did stream some of it quite a while back, but I never ended up finishing it on a stream. I did end up playing the rest of it on my own, you know, a couple years after that. But I really enjoyed it. Stopped somewhere during collection of all the weapons. Yeah, there's a lot to pick up in that game, for sure. It's a pretty fun experience, though. Like, just going through the story and all that, it's got some very interesting themes that it explores, for sure. Are there any clues I'm missing? There's a bunch of them down there. Oh, right. I forgot about this thing. We have a clue bottle dispenser. Just hang around on that for a while and we get a bunch of clues. Here, let me check at roof level here. There's a breakable, but I don't think that's clue bottle specific. Oh yeah, and the music. Oh man. That is the kind of music that has stuck with me. Just the vocal style of some of the overworld music and that sort of thing, and oh man. So when I played through it, I played through with Japanese voices and English subtitles, so I could still, you know, generally understand what was going on. Because I listened to the English and the Japanese voices kind of like side by side, and it's like, you know, I just kind of dig the vibe of the Japanese voiceover more. So I'll just roll with that, and I'll have the subtitles on so I can retain context for what people are actually saying. Because I am not bilingual. Yeah, I mean, English voices were great too. That's the thing, is like, it wasn't necessarily like a super clear-cut decision like with some other games that I've played, where it's like, oh, the English lines sound kind of hokey and the Japanese one sounds like actually more serious. Matches the vibe a bit more, kind of thing. I don't know, I still dug the vibes of the Japanese voiceover just a little bit more. Yeah, it was a lot of... Oh. 2-bit? 2-bit? Oh. Ya lunch meat, joik. Man called me a 2-bit thief. 2-bit? How dare he? I'm worth at least 3 bits. Also, the camera is getting a little bit stuck again. Thankfully, it didn't cause any issues. But oof. That is a very PS2 era type of problem for games. Grab that. We're only missing one more, and it should be around here somewhere. There it is. Perfect. Let's go pop open this vault.
Press the circle to enter the vault code. You need an IQ of at least 140 to figure this one out. Dial in 468.
All right, 4, 6, 8. Gotcha, buddy. But yeah, Nier Automata's story was heart-wrenching at so many different points.
Yeah, this will come in handy. It's Suzanne Cooper's notes pertaining to water safety. With
Ooh.
this knowledge under your belt, you won't have to waste a charm whenever you fall into water.
Now that's also very nice quality of life. So now if I accidentally fall into any large bodies of water, instead of losing a charm, it's basically just, it's just a mulligan. We just go back to where we fell off and pretend like it never happened. Yeah, I think when I played through Nier Automata the first time, I think the first thing that really stuck with me was, well, the beginning is very grim in its own way, but particularly the first major boss out in the desert, dealing with chasing down one of the machines for quite a while, and then that leading into this giant desert pit area. That particular section down there, that scene really stuck with me. That was a huge impact. And boy, the soundtrack really brought that into, because that was something I did have to go back and listen to, like the English version of the different soundtracks so I could properly understand the lyrics.
Are filthy. Well, they are the only way to get to the key, since my locator tells me it's in a jewel case somewhere near Mugshot's penthouse.
Yeah, I needed to go back and listen to the English version of some of the soundtracks that had vocals to them so I could properly appreciate the lyrics in a language that I actually know, like, at all. But just having the machine chanting of stuff like "this cannot continue" in rhythm to the music was chilling.
Well, look who just walked into my crosshairs. Sly Cooper.
It's me. That's
worried
me.
about you. Thought you took a wrong turn somewhere back in Paris.
The only one making wrong turns is you, Sly. I'd suggest you surrender before I paralyze you with my good friend, the shock pistol.
Now see, a girl whose best friend's a firearm's got issues. A little dinner, a little dancing. I think I can help you out.
Sounds romantic. As long as you don't mind dining in jail.
Nah, I hear the service is lousy.
Once I catch you, you'll know for yourself.
I love their back and forth banter. It's so well done. Whoever did the writing for their dialogue really nailed the vibe. Such good writing, I love it. I hope you don't mind dining in jail. Nah, I hear the service is lousy. It's just, it fits their characters so well. I love it. So now we just have to, you know, keep moving. Don't get hit. Thankfully, she's not great at leading her shots. So as long as I'm not literally standing in one place as the shot approaches me, I'm probably fine. She's pretty accurate with her arcing shots, though, considering that she can't really see me very well. Those arcing shots are 100% on target for where I happen to be when she shoots them. No, I don't think I will hold still. No, I don't think I will hold still. I'm gone. Girl, I'm gone. Halt? Do you? Do you got me now? I think she's a little confused. Yeah, I think she's a little confused. Because I am no longer in her sights. So I don't know why she's still yelling. Alright, we got these guys guarding a couple of important areas that I need to be able to access. So let's take care of that first. And then we'll handle this guy next. Just drop down to him. Now I am still missing one clue bottle. Is it around here somewhere? There's some breakables. There's a clue bottle up there. That doesn't bode well. If it's above me, that's probably not a good sign. Where is it at? Ah, there is one on a rooftop. Must have missed it on the chase out. Well, we know where it is, so we can make a quick run back through the level, grab it. Shouldn't be a problem for us to come back. Ooh, look who's back. She's taken away my platforms. Ooh, I love the way the environment falls away, too. That's really super interactive environment set pieces. I love that. It's a good thing I had that lucky charm. Because boy, that poker table really just was taking me down with it. Land here. Keep on a-jumping. Boom, boom. Alright, there she goes.
Down, Cooper. You can't run forever.
Farewell, Inspector. I'll see you another time. Now, before we head up to Mugshot's penthouse, I do want to, real quick, go back through the level, grab that one clue bottle that I missed, and pop open that vault. And we can pick up some more coins along the way to recoup that lucky charm that I lost earlier. Oh, there was one here. I saw its particles as it disappeared. So they actually have one in the level here. That's pretty nice. Alright. It was close to the end of the chase sequence. So I think it was on one of the rooftops coming up here. Ooh, I can grab that right away. Shortcut. We got shortcuts out here. Alright, not there as far as I can tell. I think it's up here. It's right back here, yeah. Goodbye. See you later. Whoop. Alright, take care of this guy first, so I can bounce up here without getting spotted. And we run across here and swoop down so we can grab this guy without getting spotted. And vault code.
Good thing I know Navajo code talk. Try 532.
Alright, 5, 3, 2. Gotcha. What have we got in here?
Aha! It's Sir Andrew Cooper's thief replica technique. He used to make fake stand-ups of himself to confuse guards into attacking the wrong thing. Use the triangle button to put together a fake Sly Cooper.
So now we have a decoy. How often have I used the decoy? Probably, like most of the power-ups in this game, not very much. But yeah, it's just a silhouette standee with real waving arm action for just a little bit of extra attention grabbing. Delightful. I'll see if I can find a use case for it as we go. But now we have enough keys to pop open the locked wall over here and get the elevator to come down so that we can take on Mugshot. And boy, it's gonna be an experience seeing him, because Mugshot's got interesting proportions, let's say. You'll see when we actually see him in this cutscene here.
What? My boys have been yapping about some big mysterious dude running around cracking skulls and this is it? You're the monkey wrench in my operation? Some scrawny rat with a stick. Hey, wait a second. I seen that stick before.
Maybe when my father knocked your block off with it.
Your father? Wow. You're a Cooper? You know that Thingus Rackamagookus had a lot of nice pictures, but
Way too many big words.
So you don't mind just handing it over?
What? What, are you kidding? You break into my place, steal my stuff, trash the joint. I feel transgressed and violated. Let's rock.
Oh, there he's coming. He's coming. Now this boss fight took me a little bit of time to figure out as well. 'Cause he's definitely a very, very intense individual. Sir, I need you to, yeah. So yeah, our key here is basically getting these mirrors flipped so that they're all lighting up these crystals.
My beautiful gun is destroyed. Good thing I got a spare upstairs.
There he goes upstairs. We gotta follow him up. So for some reason, these mirrors, having them light up all the crystals, breaks his guns, I guess. So basically, the idea is to just try to have something in between me and him at any and all times. Because it's incredibly risky if he does decide to go for the shot to not have cover. Thankfully, he does prioritize the guns and doesn't try to, you know, do any melee attacks on me. Alright, this stage is quite different in that I've got to really make sure my timing is good. Because he can flip these mirrors back around when he shoots them. So basically I just need to make sure I'm pretty prompt in between these mirror flips. so I can get to the next one before he shoots. And there we go.
This is impossible. A little pipsqueak like you beating a big, strong bruiser like me? It ain't right. You want all of that stupid picture book? You're gonna have to go down to Haiti and cross paths with Miss Ruby. And then believe you me, you don't want to be you.
Ms. Ruby, huh?
Mugshot section of the Thievius Raccoonus contained an entry from my gunslinging ancestor, Tennessee Kid Cooper.
Tennessee Kid Cooper. Look at that man.
His specialty was the rail walk and rail slide.
Look at him go.
Moves perfected through a lifetime of theft in the Old West. Getting out of town proved to be a little more challenging than getting in. Having just missed us, Inspector Fox went for the next best thing and dragged that canine steroid case off to jail.
It's the big
That
house
was
for
end
the
of
big
Mugshot's
boss of
gambling
Mega City.
empire, and Mesa City
Mesa City.
citizens soon returned home. While me and the boys, well, we enjoyed the rest of our stay in America, and then returned to Paris, ready for our next mission.
All right. Next mission, huh?
I figured out a way to get us to Haiti.
So now Murray's playing on like a portable system here. I've only seen something like that once before. That's got to be a PS1, judging by the controller he's holding, right? I think there's a PS1 that has like a built-in monitor like that, or some sort of accessory that works with a PS1 like that, right? Like I said, I've only seen that kind of setup once in my life, so I have no idea beyond that. No idea I was a PC kid. Yeah, and I only have really ever had like standard console. There wasn't really much in terms of accessories or extra add-ons. It was basically just the console and the controllers to use it. No other real extras for most of the consoles I've ever owned. I'm much more PC-based now, though.
The third member of the Fiendish Five was the infamous voodoo priestess, Ms. Ruby. Born into a family of
You're gonna
mystics,
love Ms.
other
Ruby.
children found her scary.
She's a whole lot of fun.
Teaching herself to summon the undead provided what few friends she had. A career in crime allowed an adult Ms. Ruby to punish the world for fearing her as a child. Chief mystic for the Fiendish Five, her powers allowed them to break both the laws of man and nature at the same time. Yet despite the whirlwind success of her youth, she managed to slip into obscurity. Last known sightings claim she headed out of civilization and deep into the Haitian jungle.
Off to the jungle, then. Sly Cooper in Vicious Voodoo. Now, I gotta say, I'm really excited for the boss battle in this world. It's a whole heck of a lot of fun. So once we get to Ms. Ruby herself, we're gonna have a whole bunch of fun. But it'll be a little while before we get there, so I will say no more for the time being. Yeah, basically it's like, oh, you're afraid of me. Then, yeah, she gave people a reason to be afraid. Seems to be how it played out. Hi, Mr. Spoder. So now we've got these little sliding rail sections. Don't you click your mandibles at me? Why are your mandibles so clicky? Now, the way these guys rear up for their attack can kind of make them tricky to hit sometimes. I find that an overhead swing tends to work best. We'll get over there to that section in a hot minute here. First, we need to slide around a bunch. And over here behind the waterfall, or is that water? Hard to say. Looks very soupy. Not fully convinced that this is water. But also, the gatekeeper. Hit him once and he splits into the body and the head, which each then become like they are their own individual enemy. So it's effectively one enemy that splits into two. First time we've seen that throughout the whole game. Everything else has been, you know, a one shot to kill. This. Don't know that we've missed anything along the way. Hopefully not. And just sneak past this guy here. No problems there. We're only missing 4 clue bottles, and I hope they're all here.
That's Miss Ruby's lair. To get in, you'll need that key on top of a tiki pedestal in the guard compound. There's a bad mojo force field protecting it, so you'll have to destroy all 5 of the purple candles surrounding it.
No problem.
Don't get cocky or you'll end up with your head shrunk to the size of a pea. You've got to get past those voodoo guards, and I'm warning you, they're mean and they work like a team.
So do we, buddy.
Let me just take out one. There's the vault. So that's 1 candle. It's 2 candles. And there's this guy here. Just kind of 3. 4. Get rid of you. There's the 5 candles.
The mojo force field is down, and you can steal the key.
Oh, and I guess that got rid of the rest of the guards. Huh. Okay. There we go. There's all of our clues. So we can just go on over here and grab ourselves our first vault of the jungle.
If I did my math right, and I always do my math right,
Of course you do, Bentley.
then the combination has got to be 588.
Alright. 5, 8. If it would settle on the right number. 8. Eureka! We got another page!
Electrified! Kelly McCooper's notes on how to harness the electromagnetic field created by a rolling raccoon. Now your raccoon roll move will really pack a punch. Plus, it should give you a nice tingling sensation.
Maybe don't need that much detail on it, Bentley, but appreciated nonetheless, I suppose? But now our roll has been upgraded to include a nice little field of electricity. So now our roll should do damage to enemies that we make contact with. We'll see if we can find a use for that as well. Because I don't know, I find the decoy to be somewhat more harmful than helpful, because the guards usually have a pretty predictable path and layout.
My paranormal scanner is maxing out on that structure.
A reading like that could only be coming off Ms. Ruby herself.
I think you're right, Sly. If you want to crack at Ms. Ruby, you're going to have to find a way inside that skull temple.
Yeah, I think the decoy, for me, it usually just pushes guards out of their predictable positions and their patrols. So yeah, Ms. Ruby's totally got it together. Let's head directly to the lair of the beast, why don't we? So this level's got kind of a fun vibe. Oh, and speaking of vibes, this level is spooky.
Industrial strength voodoo gate. Ms. Ruby must really be trying to keep something out.
Or maybe she's trying to keep something in.
Just the ambient track of this area is so appropriately haunting. I love it. Just the vibes of each area we go to are so different between each one. Raleigh's was more like sneaky thieving, like, oh, we're on a stealth mission kind of thing. Mugshot's soundtrack was a little bit more, you know, amped up and bombastic. Had a little bit more energy behind it. Ms. Ruby's is just straight up creepy. Stop off over here for a quick clue bottle pit stop. I suppose this was the way to get around to that glue bottle. We'll get back on here. Spiders. Bunch of spiders. Lots of spiders. Spiders for everyone. Climb up here. Don't miss the clue bottle along the way. All right. Spider's gonna try to make my platforming a little difficult here. Thankfully, he failed in that mission. All right, Mosquito Man. I say no thanks to all of that. I love the way that the branches like sink underneath Sly's weight as he lands on them.
These walls are making me
Oh.
claustrophobic.
Oh, the reeds are moving.
Did you see those reeds move?
Oh,
There's something huge under there. You better get going.
there's something moving around underneath the swampy soup. We best keep on moving, as per Bentley's suggestion. Gotta get rid of these guys so I can properly explore and grab all of these. I see some more clue bottles along the way on that slide down. Another clue bottle hanging out there. Hey buddy, how about you don't? Okay, 8 more clue bottles to find along the way. Let's see, there's one. Thankfully I can jump back up with the, I can jump back further up on the sliding rails. Oh boy, we got a friend. We have a very lovely friend here who's just coming to say hello. No, I want that clue bottle. I don't care if I die for it. I want that clue bottle. Because I don't want to necessarily have to go back through the whole level again. Let's go back to the checkpoint. Because we've got plenty of lives. And it's not often that we need the Lucky Charms anyway. Plus, we got some of the clue bottles along the way. We can buy ourselves a little bit more time being a little further ahead. Oh wow, we just went straight to it. Ooh, grab that. Okay, now we just go. We got all the clue bottles, now it's time to just run. Because we got a chomper on our tail. And Lucky Charm save. I guess that worked out, kind of. I could not see what was happening there because I fell down behind the platform. But before we grab the key, which will automatically take us out of the level,
Press the circle to enter the vault code.
let's get our vault here.
I had to overcome some personal demons to get the answer to this one.
Oh?
Try 4, 4, 4.
Personal demons? What's going on, Bentley? They're just numbers, man. What do the numbers do to you?
Ah, a more modern entry. Bruce O'Coop's computer hacking technique. Using the data on this page, I should be able to tap the duty roster at each hideout and project guard information into your binocucom.
Now this is a fun little like, not necessarily helpful per se, but a bit more like flavor text type of power-up. So in games like Ape Escape, there was the monkey encyclopedia. We could call it the Monkipedia. But basically, each monkey had like a personal entry where it showed their personal stats of like how alert they are, how aggressive they are, how fast they are, stuff like that. But it would also have a little bit of flavor text for their character to shed a bit of light on their personalities. Now we have something kind of similar for these guys. We can actually see their names and their like Latin scientific name, and just a brief blurb about them. Apparently these guys enjoy golf. Good to know. Oh, Oddworld Abe's Odyssey? I think I tried playing that game when I was fairly young as well. Gosh, that game was way, way above my IQ at that age. Like, I did not understand that game basically at all when I was younger. But it is a very interesting game. I tried playing it more recently, but it's still very complex.
My paranormal scanners show this place is really haunted.
Yeah, the ghost at the front entrance didn't tip you off, Bentley? The fact that we've already seen a ghost. Maybe that give you a clue that this place is haunted? So yeah, these pedestals will infinitely spawn ghosts until it's broken.
That was very interesting. When you smash that gravestone, the ghosts stop coming. It must be some kind of ghost generator. Maybe if you smash them all, you'd be safe.
Maybe. But what does safe truly mean for a master thief? But yeah, Oddworld was a game that I definitely did not, and still probably don't fully get. Like, it's really cool, and watching other people play through it, it's really got a lot of interesting ideas and stuff. But it's way above the level of understanding that I have regarding, you know, its mechanics. That feels like a lifelong game almost. Where it's like, there's so much information that's unique to Oddworld that it just kind of has to be learned as its own thing. Alright, don't worry about the ghosts, prioritize the headstones first, and then just run in circles, swinging the cane until they're all gone. Yeah, that too, it is also a very good game to have a guidebook for it. Because there's a lot of nuance to Oddworld that isn't nearly as clearly explained as I think that sort of thing would be in like a modern game. That's the type of game where if you don't have a guidebook, you basically do just have to mess around with things and find out what doing different things actually does through just pure experience. But yeah, that is definitely the type of game where having like a strategy guide or something for it would be monumentally useful. Like transformative in terms of understanding the full game. Because there is a lot to that game. There's a lot going on. Even very early on, there's like the possession technique and stuff that needs to be understood to fully like complete the game. And just understanding how those interactions work between NPCs and that sort of thing. There's just so much that I just never could fully wrap my head around it. Go over here first. Grab these clue bottles. Let me go smash the ghost generator here. Deal with these guys as well. I think I'm gonna have to backtrack a little bit. But aesthetically speaking, Oddworld is such a unique game. They really made excellent use of the pre-rendered environments and all that sort of stuff. It's a very visually distinctive game. Even like the main menu and stuff is very unique in its aesthetic. Like off the top of my head, I can't really think of many other games that have that similar sort of flavor of... Would surrealism fit? Because that's kind of how it felt playing it. Like it feels like a very surreal experience. Not necessarily in the cliche like, whoa man, I'm tripping kind of surreal, but just it fits the name. It fits the name. It is a very odd world. I think that much can be said for sure. Also, I missed 5 clue bottles. Some of them might be back here, but there's the vault. Yeah, we're only missing 1. I would rather not go through the entire stage again with all the enemies spawned in. So what we can do is just drop back down to the beginning instead. And just do it this way. I'm trying to think of some really bizarre games, but nothing comes to mind. I think that's one of the things that really makes the game so special, is just how strange it is in its particular way. Like, I don't really fully know how I would describe it, because mechanically speaking, it very much is like a puzzle game. It is like stealth puzzle platformer. Kind of. It's got like an interesting mixture of things. Getting over it. Truly the experience of all time. I've tried playing that myself. Goodness, I have to say, it is an experience, but definitely not one that I was prepared to subject myself to the entirety of. I never really fully committed myself to getting an entire playthrough of that game. And I don't know if that's a game I'll ever come back to because of the sheer commitment it would take to see progress in that game to full completion. Got Golden Cauldron? Nice. Certainly no simple task, especially at first. It definitely seems like one of those games where once someone has developed an understanding of how it works as a whole, and just generally has the muscle memory figured out for it, and just how movement and navigation functions, it becomes a lot less daunting. And I think getting to the end of it for the first time really helps with the confidence side of things. And just having that reassurance of, okay, I know I've done this before, so I can do it again. I haven't seen this clue bottle anywhere. I'm trying to think if there's... Aha! There you are. Now we can open the vault. No screenshots with time somewhere. Yeah, I think that's a pretty screenshot-worthy thing. I probably would have taken a screenshot too, just to prove that I had done it.
To enter the vault code. Okay, this is kind of a guess, but try 128.
1, 2, 8. Good guess, Bentley. Good guess.
These are the blueprints to Miss Ruby's production facility. I'll pipe this information into your binocucom. Use it to find breakables and clues nearby.
Well, how delightful. If I had those blueprints, that probably would have saved me a bit of running around through the stage to grab that last clue bottle. But we have it now. So probably what I should do in the future, if I ever play through these again, is just remember which stages have the blueprints and start with those. Although, honestly, it probably would be better for me to just memorize where the clue bottles are to begin with. That way I don't need the blueprints at all. Let me take a look around here. We've gotten 3 keys. We can get to... oh. Piranha Lake, huh? Right. Over here. Boink. Oh, right. Piranha Lake. Now this one... this is an interesting stage. First of all, that jaunty music.
The only way to open up that voodoo gate is by lighting all 25 tiki torches with the flamethrower on your swamp skiff. Use the left analog stick to steer and press the X button to fire the flamethrower. Oh, and one more thing. You need fuel for the flamethrower, and the only source of oil are those piranha you see swimming around. Run them down
All right.
the boat. One fish fuels one shot. Hurry! You only have 2 minutes to get all the torches lit.
Alright. Don't need any more explanation than that. We just gotta... eco-terrorism, let's go. So we can hold up to 5 shots at once. So bear that in mind. I think the biggest key for me when dealing with this stage is just making sure I have some rhyme and reason as to like which I'm doing it section by section, so that I don't accidentally miss, you know, an individual torch. Also trying to find big groups of these guys so I can get a bunch of shots. Is also helpful. Alright, I'm out of shots, so I need to go grab some more. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only need 5 more, so I can get 5 shots. Let's do 3, because we'll have some more fish over here. Alright, we've got enough shots now. There we go, with 29 seconds to spare. Thankfully they shut off the timer once the final torch is lit. Very generous of them. And that's another key. Nice and simple. And we've got 50% completion now. Which I'd say roughly lines up with us being, you know, about halfway through the game. considering we are dealing with the Fiendish 5, and we are halfway through World 3. Let's pop open the gate, and our chompy friend is back. They bust open the gate for us, which lets us access the rest of the hub zone, so... Thank you, Chomper. Very cool. Very helpful. Watch out for the spider guard.
Looks like this is some kind of giant voodoo egg beater to stir up that unsanitary mess.
If I could unlock the cauldron's lid, I might be able to thrash their production and build up enough steam pressure to get launched up to Ruby's Skull Temple.
Okay, sounds like we've got a plan. To get around that thing, try moving in the shadows made by the masks so that the guards won't see you.
Good plan. Good plan. Let's go. Stick to the shadows. And we'll just start working our way around to the different levels as we take a descent into danger. How many clue bottles are we looking at here? 40 of them.
Oh my god, the green waterfall overflowing with bones and body parts. I'm telling you, the health department's going to come down big time on this dump.
I don't think the health department has any say in this matter. I'm gonna just chill here for a second. I can't remember if he can see me or not. But now, I need to head back, grab this. I think I have to drop it down to there from above, so we'll come back to that. First things first. We've got this guy launching flaming skulls. So watch out for him. He is not a friend. Whoops. Thankfully I've got that water safety, so no charm lost. Don't lose that lucky charm now. Just trying to make sure I cover my bases when I'm looking around for clues. As we climb up these assemblies of bones. Don't know why those are here. Set up in the way that they are. But, you know, they're convenient, so I'm not going to question it too much. Now these little wooden rafters in between are not stable, so as soon as we step on them, they're going to start breaking. So I tend to prefer to just not use them if I possibly can. Just try to stick to the stone pathway. As much as I can. Now that guy's guarding a couple of clue bottles, so I need to take care of him. Thankfully this other guy did not seem to care, so we can take care of him too. Bunch of clue bottles there. Snag these two and we're halfway done. Now here's where we could drop down to grab these clue bottles down here. May as well do it now. Because we'll need them for later. All we gotta do is a little bit of, not quite backtracking, but something akin to that. Just need to go back through this section a second time since we had to drop down. We are also back up to a gold Lucky Charm. Very nice to have. There's a nice little bit of safety. Use some of these as shortcuts here since we're not going to be coming back again. Should be no reason for us to need to go back through that section again.
Hey there, Sly Cooper. That's right. I know you're here. I've seen it in the stars. It's all over my tea leaves. I'm in your mind, raccoon. I know your game. You better run for it, or me and my voodoo children are gonna sign you up for an eternity of soul servitude.
Nah, this isn't where I want to be. Can I go back up? Or is it going to attach me? Okay, it's back here. Alright. Well, I guess we're going through here again. So much for not going back to that section up top again. And remember that there was not a way back up from the waterfall either. If that's water. Again, still very dubious as to whether this swamp muck can even be considered water. But it's not a huge deal to climb back up. Now this is a section... This is the kind of thing where fast actually does kind of help. To a certain extent. It's just for certain things like climbing along those bone areas where there's nothing that can really be done to speed them up. So just run the fast power up on them. Or sections like this where you can move the lasers a little bit faster. Oops. Kinda looked like ground, but it's not ground, it's more of that muck. I guess by the game's definition it must be water because I have the water safety
This must be the source
power
of
up.
all the disgusting green soup.
Alright, hit all the candles to get access to this guy. Problem solved. Do we have any clue bottles out here? I don't think so. I think that's up ahead. So yeah, these spire spots, some of these shoot fire. We got some spire fire. And I guess I do need to make the double jump to reach high enough for Sly to want to actually make it up here. Alright, let's see. That's 36, 38. We just need 2 more, and I think the other 2 are up ahead, are they not? Yep, looks like it. We'll just make our pit stop here. Whoops. Whoops. Keeps hitting the vault. Alright.
These codes are nothing before my righteous analytical ability. The combination has to be 571.
Alright, 5, 7, 1. Gotcha.
Mind bending. It's Matthew de la Coupe's perpetual slow motion technique.
Perpetual slow motion.
With this move, you can slow down time whenever you want, not just while jumping. Hold down the triangle button to use it.
So now we have universal slowdown, not just when we're in the air. We can hold the button down, and that actually makes it easier to admire some of what makes the animation in this game kind of fun as well, is whenever I do, say, like, jumping, he's got a lot of squash and stretch. It's like, watch his head. That squash and stretch is pronounced. So that is arguably one of the best uses of the slow motion, is to be able to admire the animations more. But we've got that settled now. I wonder what would happen if I didn't get the earlier slow motion technique, but I got that one. Would it still give me like the universal slow motion? Or would it be like, oh, you don't have the original slow motion technique, so you can't use this yet? That might be worth testing. Alright, a ghastly voyage. And time for another twin stick shooter. But this time, not top down. Sorry, Bentley, I can't hear you over the sound of bullets. Alright, so basically we just have to stall for time with this guy. Yeah, that is basically what this is. I can ease off the trigger whenever we're not actively fighting against something. But as soon as we get into combat, it's back on the menu. We also have these fortifications that take several shots to break down. So get used to seeing those. Definitely going to be important to break through those as quickly as possible. Just basically focus fire on one particular section so we can break the enemy spawner. Alright, now it's time for both. We've got ghosts and we've got a flaming head thrower.
According to my paranormal scanner, that flowing soup is ectoplasm. It's just got to be the source of power for those generators.
Ectoplasm. Ectoplasm swamp, huh? Seems good. Just trying to balance where everything is shooting from and chasing from. Thankfully, my hand-eye coordination is better than it was when I was a kid, so I can handle this section a lot more easily than I used to. Now we've got 3 spawners. Not 1, not 2, but 3 ghost spawners. There's ghosts everywhere. Probably good to go for that center one first if I can, because it's less reinforced. But there we go. Lost the charm in the process, but we can always get that back. We got ourselves our 6th key. One more key, and then we can go take on Ms. Ruby. And that's just up here. We take this guy out real quick. And we break these. And now we can get between both halves of the hub zone without too much trouble. We don't have to go all the way around this whole rail running area. We can just use that door. Oh boy. Time for one of the tougher stages. Down home cooking. This stage can be rough during a speedrun too.
Here, just looking at this place has got me breaking out in hives. But we've got no choice. That ghost over there contacted me on Spectre Wave Radio, and we've cut a deal. He's promised us a key if you can whack 50 chickens. I guess he needs them to make a big pot of gumbo, but he's scared of the bob-toed roosters. Be careful, or they'll blow you to bits. Think you can do it?
Alright, 50 chickens, don't hit the bomb-toting roosters. Here they come. You want to lead them into each other if you can. Oh boy. Oh boy. Spawned right on top of me. Oh. Ooh. Ooh. There we go. This stage could definitely be a real toughie, so... This was definitely one that gave me a lot of trouble when I was younger. Just because these roosters come out of nowhere and they're fast. As evidenced. Oof. Just trying to balance getting the chickens while also avoiding the roosters is tough. So you can't afford to focus only on one thing. Ah, so close. Now I don't have safety hits either. So I think the key is I need to focus primarily on the chickens. Getting the chickens. But I also need to be moving in a direction that the roosters are going to run into each other. But I can't afford to only focus on one or the other. Because then we're not going to have enough chickens by the end of it. Okay. So you could probably see why this would be a bit of a nightmare for a speedrun. It's just where the chickens decide to run, where the roosters decide to spawn. I got stuck on the sack in the middle. That was unfortunate. But we got plenty of lives to burn if we really need to. Ah, man, it spawned on me. Definitely gotta be a little more careful about those patches opening up. Okay. think once the first pair of them spawns in, I think they're on a timer at that point. Possibly. Yep, they're on a timer. It's gotta be. I don't like being over by those hatches on the side. So that's where they like to spawn from, is over there. Okay. We're on a decent track here. Just need 2 more. Just watch out for those roosters. And we're good, okay. Ooh, boy, that is one of the toughest stages in the entire game. Just that particular little minigame. That definitely went a lot smoother than it did in my youth, for sure. And with that taken care of, we can unlock this bad boy and hitch a ride up to the Big Skull Temple with one of my favorite bosses of all time. I mean, this whole thing is just... This is a nostalgia bomb. I can feel that Cooper vibe coming.
Most distastefully bad juju.
Yeah, well, you give me the creeps too, lady. Cooking up an army of ghosts isn't a very neighborly pastime.
Oh,
Sly.
I see your mouth moving,
But all I hear is blah, blah, blah.
well, if jaws need to flap, then let them flap.
See you in the next world, Sly Cooper. Do 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 do. She's all about that rhythm. Alrighty, here we go.
You can't run away forever.
Quite true.
Quite true.
Why don't I have my servant Chumley escort you over here?
Alright, what's the catch?
Oh, not much. Just a little game I like to play with all my annoying guests. I want to see how well you pay attention.
What do you mean?
Well, I'll unleash my mighty mojo magic upon you. If you repeat what I do, you'll dodge it just fine.
Mm-hmm.
If not, you'll get zapped.
A little voodoo Simon Says, huh? Sounds easy enough.
Alright, here we go. This is so good. I love this part so much. Dig, dag, dig. Dag, dig, dag. Dig, ooh, dag. This is so much fun. Oh, I didn't like that input. I love this section. It is so much fun. And we got plenty of lives for it. I think the only thing that's a little unfortunate with this section is it is a little... It is delicately coded. So sometimes it does not function quite perfectly, but it's still such a fun section. Because, like, look at this. It's so much fun. Dig, dag, do. Dag, dig, do. It's so much fun. I love a good rhythm game. Dag, dag, boo, boo, dig, dig, do. Dig, dag, dig. Boo, do. Dag, dig, dag. Boo, do. And then the slowdown. And the speed up. So much fun. Such a wonderful section. This filled me with so much happiness when I played it the first time, and it does every time I play it. And the intensity build up. Ooh. I love it. Ooh. Ooh. Almost forgot about that part. And she gets faster every time too. Such a fun boss.
Got some rhythm, Raccoon. But it won't help you none if you're fixing to go after the Panda King.
Oh, Panda King.
He's tough, with a capital T. You go poking around his stronghold in China, you're likely to get poked back.
Yeah, well, if he's anything like the rest of you, I think I'll manage.
And then he starts flapping his gums.
Section of the Thievius Raccoonus held notes from my pioneering ancestor, Sly Cooper. His invisibility technique allowed him to steal from corrupt pharaohs and greedy noblemen. Right on schedule, Inspector Fox's arrival cued my exit. The production of zombies, made illegal in the World Peace Accord of 71, earned Ms. Ruby a life sentence behind bars.
Oh.
While the gang and I enjoyed a few weeks in the tropical sunshine, working on our tans in preparation for our next caper.
Oh man, that boss is always so much fun. Bro, that might be, I don't know if that's the highlight of the game for me, but it is definitely hard to argue otherwise. I always look forward to that boss every time I play this game. It's so much fun.
Travel plans to China have all been worked out.
We'll work on that in a while. Hang on. I want to see Murray working on his paddleball skills. He's really got it figured out. He's rocking it. But I think, considering that time that it is right now, and knowing that this stage is a particularly long one, we're gonna be in for quite a bit of level length in this stage, in this world rather. So, I think we will save that for next time. We made pretty good progress. 3 worlds in 4 hours, not too bad. Not too bad at all. I am very happy that we got to Ms. Ruby today, though. That is something I always look forward to when playing through these games again. I just love the rhythm game aspect of it. It's got some fun slowdown, speed ups, intensity increases. Never can turn down a good rhythm game. So, other than that, sounds like you need to play a rhythm game. I've thought about it. I'm just not sure what to play. Because I've played a lot of stuff like I've got, you know, Guitar Hero experience. But I think the biggest difficulty with something like that is navigating DMCA and copyright. I would have to be very, very, very careful with something like that. But I have done Parappa the Rapper 1 and 2 and Jammer Lammy on stream before. I know I've played those games. Might need to revisit those at some point. Patapon from PSP. Oh, I haven't heard of that one. I'll have to... Let me write that down real quick. I'll have to take a look at that. Let me... Alright, got that written down. I can take a look at that. Appreciate the tip. And Crypt of the Necrodancer. That is one that I've been tempted, but I'm also somewhat terrified of it. Partially because of that, you know, roguelike experience. I know one thing I could probably do is I could play the Rhythm Heaven games. Those are games I've enjoyed pretty well, and I don't know when the last time I did it. I don't know if I've ever played them on a stream. I might have. But I could definitely do the Rhythm Heaven games. I've played the DS and the Wii versions. I've played those entries in the series. And I know there's a couple other ones that I have not personally experienced. So maybe we look into that sometime as well. But first things first. Rhythm games, fun and all. But we've got a whole Sly Cooper series to experience too. So probably we can tap into some of the rhythm games once we've had our fill of Sly Cooper for a while. How big is the series? So as far as I know, there are 4 mainline Sly Cooper titles. I've only played the first 3, and I've been meaning to check out the 4th one for a long time, and that's part of what inspired me to look through actually playing all of the games leading up to the 4th one, because that game will make a lot more sense with the context of the first 3 games. Because it's going to be dealing with, you know, it's good. There's going to be a lot of references and callbacks, I imagine, to context and characters that the first 3 games establish. So I figured it made the most sense to go through and check out the first 3 games' main stories at least before heading into the 4th entry. I don't know how much of the side content we're gonna do, because some of the later entries have a bunch of, you know, little side missions and bonus secrets and stuff to find. My main focus is gonna be, you know, the stories themselves, just the primary line of how things kind of unfold for Sly and the gang. But we might explore some of the little bonus side stuff just to kind of show what the games have to offer in that regard as well. So we've got, at this point, basically 3.5 more Sly games ahead of us, because we're basically halfway done with Sly 1 at this point. But I'm looking forward to it, because there's a lot of fun stuff that goes on in some of the later entries too. And it is awesome to be able to see how they build upon what they've established in this first game and how they expand upon it in the later entries. So that'll be fun to kind of see it in direct comparison to each other. We don't have to worry about the gap in between releases. So, that will be it for me for today. We'll be back with the rest of Sly 1 and possibly jump into Sly 2 next time, depending on how long the rest of Sly 1 ends up taking. Particularly Panda King's stage has a lot to it. But we'll tackle all of that next time. Definitely good to have those rhythm games on the docket as well, because I do like me a good rhythm game. I haven't done that too much on the streams, but it's definitely something I enjoy, so I should try and find some good titles to share and or try out. Some familiar titles, some new stuff. We'll check that out sometime as well. But for the time being, we got Sly on the mind, or at least I do, for sure. So we will continue this on the next stream. But before that happens, there will also be the usual Terraria game day stream happening tomorrow at, I believe it should still be the 3 to 5 p.m. Central Time block, happening over on Game Jolt, and that is hosted by my wonderful fiance, Dinocation, who you might also know as Baki. Real quick, I'm gonna pull up, I should probably set up a command for this so I can do this more readily. But I will link to her Game Jolt page. If I can get it to pop up here. My web browser's giving me a little bit of trouble. Happens sometimes. There we go. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't something I necessarily expected to get into myself, because I usually don't play too much Terraria on my own. I have some experience with it, but it's not a game I've ever really done a deep dive into. But Baki's assembled of a handful of people, including myself, and we're just doing some Terraria stuff. So here is the link to her Game Jolt page for anyone who is interested. She also does some really, really high quality digital art, very like Toon Rainbow Core kind of style. A little bit on the edgier side for those who are unaware, but really good art. I always like seeing what she puts up because it looks great. I know I'm not necessarily the most neutral, unbiased source, but as someone who doesn't do much art themselves, I appreciate the time and effort that goes into just learning how to, create art in any form. Like, I'm not much of a visual artist myself, so I appreciate it all the more for it, because I know it's something that would take me a long time to even get close to matching. So, in any case, that'll be happening tomorrow, 3 to 5 p.m. Central Time, over on Game Jolt. So if I don't see any of y'all over there, I will be back at my usual time next Saturday at noon Central. So, until the next stream, take care, everyone.